And here Hannah blame Plato. Hannah says that Plato is responsible for the emergence of totalitarianism. The question is, why Plato? But you are missing the root cause. Why Plato is responsible for origin of totalitarianism? I will define totalitarianism. What is totalitarianism for Hannah Arendt? But the question is that why Plato is responsible? You remember, Hobbes is not responsible for emergence of totalitarianism. It's Plato. And why Plato? Probably you are forgetting the basic fact. For Plato, the basic problem for Plato is that for Plato, the essence of human being lies in soul. Essence to be human lies in action or in soul. For Hannah Arendt is light in action. And more tragic is that how Plato is describing soul is an objective form, that every soul is having three qualities. Either it is having reason or courage or appetite. So every soul is having three objective qualities. Look the way how Plato is defining the quality of human being. It is a very interesting. If you look the Plato's quality of human being, sometime it appears that he is defining a marker, he is defining camera, or he is defining a building, machine, not a human being. Don't you think that this objective definition of human being is a contested idea? And again, I am saying that why this is very problematic, because human being is objective or subjective. Hannah Arendt says that we can't have any objective definition of human being. So I can't say that who are you? Only you can tell. And that is a point. Whenever somebody is asking that give me a resume, refuse instantly. You are asking my resume? It means that is a point. If I am explaining that human being is an objective form, so even we are transforming human being like an object. And if human being become an object, this is the most dehumanizing effect of modernization. अभी डॉक्टर के पास जाओ, क्या कहता है? अपना अपना जरा देखो कितना है, तो हाइट कितना है, वेट कितना है. हाइट वेट देख के और देन पल्स देख के समझ जाता है कि ह्यूमन बीइंग क्या है. दिस इज ऑब्जेक्टिव वे टू अंडरस्टैंड द ह्यूमन बीइंग. इसलिए तो कई बार डॉक्टर कहता है कि अरे तुम नहीं बचोगे, तभी आदमी बच जाता है. Because what doctor want to know human being objectively and willpower of individual. No machine is made in this world which can measure the willpower, positivism, optimism. This is the essence of human being. And what happened? What is the more tragedy with Plato? Once he's defined human being like an objective, and because somebody is having more quality of reason, and somebody has an additional amount of courage, and somebody has an additional amount of appetite, and according to their quality of soul, and then Plato imagined about the perfect ideal state or ideal society. And look, first Plato want to explain human being in a perfect form, because if we are defining human being just like an object, therefore we are defining human being like a marker. You remember what Hannah Arendt says, that there is a difference between a human being and an object. Object can be defined perfectly, and human being is not perfect. Time and again what I have remind you, कभी मत सोचना कि मैं कभी भी पढ़ लोगे लगेगा यार कम ही पढ़ा है. कुछ भी कर लोगे लगता नहीं नहीं अभी तो मामला बना नहीं, थोड़ा और हो जाता तो अच्छा होता. We are striving toward become perfect, and that is way human being are different from object. And if human being would have been perfect, that is the point, we don't need freedom at all. We are looking for freedom because we are imperfect. And what is the problem? Plato is defining perfect and ideal society, ideal state, and perfect human being. And therefore, this is the republic. And what is the ideal society? What is it? There will be a philosopher king. there will be philosopher king, and society will be divided up three classes, comprised of three classes, philosopher king, and then there will be soldiers, and then finally there will be producers. These are three classes that is comprised of state or society. These are three classes that is comprised of state and society. And don't you think that perfect society, no conflict? That is in Platonic society, there is no scope of conflict. And that is the point, there is no scope of any mechanism which can resolve the conflict. Because people are transforming their quality of soul. They are undergoing through education. Because of education, their life is transformed. And because their life is transformed, and that is the point, can you imagine a society where there is everything is perfect? Therefore, whether we are explaining an example of society or we are explaining an example of heaven, everything becomes perfect in heaven. अच्छा, आपको जो टिफिन मिलता है परफेक्ट हो तो थोड़ा गड़बड़ होता है. कहीं पार्टी में जाओ, कई बार हम खूब खाते हैं, गोलगप्पे खूब खाए, कैसा रहा? थोड़ा साल्ट कम था, बाकी सब ठीक था. एंड दैट इज अ पॉइंट. अब आप सोचो, जिसने इंतजाम किया था उसके प्राण निकल गए. जैसे उधर खिलाया फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट, पहले सारा खा लिया, सब कुछ खाया, फिर क्या उसमें वो कम था, उसमें वो कम था, उसमें वो कम था. दैट इज अ पॉइंट. दिस इज अ फिलॉसफी ऑफ ह्यूमन बीइंग. कभी किसी को मुकम्मल जहां नहीं मिलता. यू रिमेंबर? बट प्लेटो, oh my God, he is a projecting perfect society and the perfect human being. And therefore, he is describing society and state more like a machine. And because he also assume human being like a machine. Because how we can define human being objectively, that is the idea of a contest. And then Hannah says that this is exactly done by the fascist. This is exactly done by the fascists, because what is the fascists are doing? Fascists are also explaining that we are going to make a perfect society. A perfect society. What was the purpose of fascists? They want to make a perfect state. And this perfect state, and that is a Italian and German state. They want to make a perfect state where no conflict will be there. A very high unity among the people. Everybody will think that we are Italian. Everybody will consider that they are German. Neither language, nor caste, nor religion, anything is not restricted. And what is more important, they are making a perfect society, and they are also making a perfect state. And that is point. If you want to make a perfect state, means we have to restore the pride of Italy. Because once upon a time, Italy was a very great nation. But because of the democracy and because of other factors, there was a decline of civilization in Italy. And we want to restore the pride of Italy. And again, we want to establish a Italian state as the best state in the world. Unparalleled state in the world. And that is point. Every individual is supposed to obey the order of a state. And for suiting that perfect state, they're also describing human being objectively. They're also describing human being objectively. And that is point. What is the purpose of human being? Human being must learn discipline, obedience. Because whatever Mussolini is saying, that is only correct. No doubt, no question, no doubt is allowed. Because wherever because fascist leader is a more wisest leader. Just like Plato says that philosopher king is a person who is the wisest. Because what Plato says that philosopher king is a person who is the wisest. That is the point. Plato never supported democracy. Why Plato never supported democracy? Because basic philosophy of democracy is that everyone is the wisest. Everyone is having same amount of reason. You can't say that somebody is having more reason than others. And this become the base of philosopher king. This become the base of the one person who knows the interest of society best. This is what happens in fascism. Therefore, Who knows the interest of Germany best? Hitler. Who knows the interest of Italy best? Mussolini. Nobody is other to tell that. Therefore, don't you think that the personality cult, leadership, a party, that was worshipping, and one party, one nation, because they are also visualizing that their leader is a perfect, state is a perfect, and similarly, they also crush democracy. Why Plato is saying that? Why Plato? There is some amount of elitism in Plato. Why? Plato says that everyone is not equally qualified to rule the nation. Similarity set by fascist. Similarity set by fascist. And very interestingly, Plato says that learn discipline. Whatever task you are given in society, do it perfectly. Never try to encroach in function of others. This is same said by fascist. Never ask for liberty. Never ask for equality. Because therefore fascists are also supporting elitism. So both are undemocratic and both are enemy of liberty. Both are enemy of constitutionalism and freedom. Both are enemy of constitutional freedom. And very interestingly, for Plato, you remember this very important point. For Plato, state is a moral institution, not legal institution. Moral institution means state cannot commit any wrong. There's reference. Hobbes never recognizes that state is a moral institution. You remember? Hobbes says that state is a legal institution. Even Hobbes also admitted that once a state is attacking over the life of individual, then individual has right to revolt against the state. This is allowed by Hobbes. But this is never said by the fascist. Fascists say state is a perfect institution, moral institution. Fascists are repeating the slogan of Hegel. State is a march of God on the earth. And you always remember, for Hegel, state is a moral. And not only moral, perfect moral. And can you imagine, God can commit a mistake? No. State can commit a mistake? No. State is having, because God is perfect. State is perfect. अगर आपने कहा कि गॉड बीमार पड़ गए थे तो गॉड नहीं है वो. गॉड इसलिए क्लास में नहीं, उनको सर्दी जुकाम हो गया था. तो आई फ्लू इज अ प्रॉब्लम ऑफ ऑर्डिनरी इंडिविजुअल. गॉड के पास ना कोई आई फ्लू होता है, ना कोई इलनेस है. देयर इज नो, दैट इज नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम इन गॉड. एंड दे आर प्रोजेक्टिंग द स्टेट लाइक गॉड, एंड देयरफॉर ह्यूमन बीइंग बिकम लाइक अ स्मॉल एटम machine. They become like a chicken who is ruled by their master. This is the way how you can find out a very classical similarity between Plato and fascism. Very classical similarity. But it is not fair to say that Plato was the father who inspired fascism. We are respecting the views of Hannah Arendt, but we are differing with that. I will differ with that. I will tell you reason. But behind tell you reason, Hannah Arendt told, first reason behind the emergence of fascism is a Plato. Second reason was modernization. She told other reasons too. But what was the most important reason behind emergence of fascism? Philosophical was Plato. And there was a other modernization. Because what happens in modernization? Economic life became more important than political life.